Somewhere on a server you'll never see, there's a number that estimates how likely you are to buy something in the next few hours. It's not guessing. It's not random. It's built from your location, your scroll speed, the time you usually check your phone at night, and dozens of other signals you've never consciously noticed you were giving away. And by the time a notification lands on your screen, your phone often already knows something about your spending decision that you haven't figured out yet yourself. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what data your phone is using to predict your spending behavior, the specific techniques apps use to time their asks for the moment you're most likely to say yes, and 3 concrete changes that take back control of that timing without deleting a single app. This isn't about being paranoid. It's about understanding a system that's already running, whether you notice it or not. Here's a number worth sitting with. The average person unlocks their phone dozens of times a day, and every one of those unlocks generates a small trail of data. What you looked at, how long you paused, whether you scrolled past something or lingered. None of that data disappears. It gets fed into prediction models built specifically to estimate purchase intent, sometimes with a level of accuracy that would surprise you. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's the actual published business model behind a significant share of the free apps on your phone. Let's get specific about what's actually being tracked, because vague warnings about data don't tell you much. Location data reveals which stores you walk past and how long you linger outside them, even if you never go in. Scroll behavior reveals which products you paused on, which ones you screenshotted, and which ones you kept coming back to without ever adding to a cart. Time of day patterns reveal when your willpower is typically lowest. For most people, that's late evening, and for a smaller but significant group, it's during a specific window right after a stressful workday. Purchase history, even from unrelated apps, gets shared and combined through data brokers most people have never heard of, to build a fuller picture of spending patterns. None of this is a single company watching you. It's dozens of systems, quietly comparing notes. Here's a stat that tends to catch people off guard. Some studies on mobile advertising have found that certain predictive models can estimate the likelihood of a purchase within a specific browsing session with a level of accuracy well above random chance, sometimes accurately enough that advertisers can time an offer down to the hour. That's not marketing hype. That's the literal selling point pitched to advertisers in industry materials most consumers never see. Here's the part that actually matters more than the tracking itself: timing. Knowing what you might buy is only half the equation. Knowing exactly when to ask you is where the real leverage lives. This connects directly to something worth remembering. Willpower depletes throughout the day, like a battery running down. Advertising systems have learned to time offers for the exact moments your battery tends to be lowest, because a person with depleted willpower says yes to things a rested version of themselves would have scrolled past without a second thought. A notification at 7 p.m. after a long day isn't random. A flash sale email that lands right when you're bored and half watching television isn't random either. The system isn't trying to convince you. It's trying to catch you when convincing isn't even necessary. Now here's the part that reframes everything, because it's easy to feel powerless against this. The system isn't smarter than you. It's just patient, and it's operating at a scale no individual willpower battle can match. It doesn't need to win every time. It only needs to win often enough, across millions of small moments, for the math to work in its favor. Understanding that shifts the fight from outsmarting an algorithm to something much more achievable, breaking the specific pattern it's counting on. Let's talk specifically about notifications, because they're the most direct delivery mechanism for all of this. Most shopping and social apps test dozens of notification variations to find which specific wording, emoji, and send time produces the highest click rate for each individual user. Not for users in general, for you specifically. Over time, the app learns your personal triggers. Maybe it's scarcity language. Maybe it's a friend's activity. Maybe it's simply a notification that arrives during a specific hour your data shows you're most likely to open the app. Each notification you tap on trains the system further. It's not guessing anymore by the time it's sending you offer number 200. It's responding to a profile built entirely from your own past behavior. This is why two people can have the exact same app installed and receive completely different notifications at completely different times, tailored to two completely different weak points. Here's a specific number that puts this in perspective. Data from mobile marketing research suggests that personalized, well-timed push notifications can produce click-through rates many times higher than generic, untargeted ones. That gap is the entire business case for building the prediction system in the first place. It's not a minor optimization. It's the primary reason the tracking exists at all. So here's what you can actually do about this, without becoming someone who lives off the grid. First, turn off non-essential notifications for shopping and social apps specifically, and leave them on only for things that require a genuine, time-sensitive response. This alone removes the system's most direct trigger. It can still know things about you, but it loses its ability to reach you at the exact moment it's calculated you're most vulnerable. Second, identify your own personal low willpower window. For most people, it's evening, but it's worth actually noticing your own pattern instead of assuming. Once you know it, treat that window the way you'd treat a known trigger for any other habit. Don't open shopping apps during it, on purpose, the same way you wouldn't walk into a bakery on an empty stomach if you were trying to eat less sugar. Third, use a delay rule specifically for anything that arrives through an ad, a notification, or a targeted email. Not a browser rule, an ad rule, because ads are precisely the layer built to catch you before you've had time to think. 24 hours, no exceptions. If the desire survives a full day without any prompting, it was probably yours to begin with. If it doesn't, you just watch the system's leverage expire in real time. There's one more layer worth knowing, because it explains why this feels different from old-fashioned advertising. Traditional advertising tried to create desire. Modern predictive advertising mostly tries to detect desire that already exists and time its delivery for the moment that desire is least likely to be second-guessed. That's a meaningfully different threat. It's not selling you on wanting something. It's just making sure you buy it before the part of your brain that would have talked you out of it gets a chance to show up. Once you understand the mechanism, the goal isn't to become suspicious of every app or delete your phone. It's to recognize that a notification landing at a suspiciously convenient moment isn't a coincidence and doesn't deserve the same trust as a decision you arrived at on your own. You start noticing the pattern, the timing that's just a little too well matched to your mood, the sale that appears right when you're bored, the reminder email that shows up the exact evening your willpower was already thin. None of that noticing requires new software or extra effort. It just requires knowing the system exists in the first place, because a manipulation you can name has already lost most of its power over you. The next time an offer lands on your screen at a suspiciously convenient moment, you don't have to fight it with willpower in the moment it arrives. You just have to remember that the timing itself is the tell. Real desires don't usually need a countdown timer or a push notification to survive the night. The ones that do were probably never fully yours to begin with.